Hey guys, welcome back to Survival Records. Here in the cockpit of the sled. Is it the cockpit or is it like the helm? The main steerage? I'm sure there's some nautical term for the location on a ship where you steer it from, but it's not necessarily like the main central point. Anyway. I am here back in the Orenzai system outside of a giant gas planet near one of the moons. There's the moon. And I've found myself an ice asteroid on which I will be making a base. I'm working my way up in the Lord Waiter's tiered systems. I've got a tier 2 assembler here. And I suppose I could make tier 2 assembler motors in here. There they are. Okay, so I need to be able to make a tier 3 motor. And the tier 3 motor... how do I look at this? Hold on. Function, okay. Cobalt, silicon, nickel, and iron. So I could make some of these right off the bat and get myself up to tier 3, but I don't know if that's what I want to do. A bunch of other things like the thrusters. I had a conversation, really quick message back and forth with the author of this mod, and I expressed to him my concern that this was going to suddenly be a vast, spiraling out of control, overpowered thing. And so what his response was is, especially because I'm using a realistic efficiency, the cost in materials is going to be drastically different. So let's take, for instance, this tier 2 thruster component requires 0.45 platinum ingots. Platinum being the hardest one of these all to collect, maybe gold being not as bad, but, so 1 gold and 0.45 platinum. Whereas a regular thruster component is 1 gold and 0.4 platinum. So maybe with tier 2 being relatively low in the cost department, it's not gonna ramp up that much. Here's another thing we could look at with the tier 2 assembly motor. We need 5 silicon, 6.06, 25 iron ingot, and then compare that to this one. It goes up by about 50%. Alright, so I can see how that's going to limit me a bit. Anyway, I have a little bit more manipulation I want to do on the sled. Obviously, reconnecting this output here to the front of the ship is going to be important. And then I still have some redesign I want to do here. I've got the causeway here to the main cabin area, but I want to figure out how to make the cabin airtight, and having this large cargo container butt right up against all this stuff is going to be problematic with that. But I also have these double doorways up here, and it reminds me of something I wanted to do, so I could make it so that this is an effective airlock. And as it happens, I have two here, and then on the Esbelta, I have a very similar airlock point right here. So I'm going to get some sensors and timer blocks going and get those airlocks to be functional. And then, yeah, then work on getting the cabin here also functional. Yeah. So, let me get to it. Okay. These sensor components are very heavy. Oh, that's right, I need to connect things still. So with the sensor going in right here, let's do that, and I want to show sensor range. I want to go to control panel, and I want to show on HUD. And let's get the sensor ranges down all the way. Front extent, probably down to there. Just under 2 meters. Alright. Now let's set up actions and check if the Esbelta doors closed. So now if I walk through, those doors close no matter what. And then if I am in here, right, I don't have to close the door behind me. And I still have the sensor, or the timer block going every 10 seconds or so that just closes those doors for me. So I'm running up the ship, I go through here, that door behind me closed, and I have an airtight seal. Didn't quite work, the timing was a little off, but so I can rush through. Oh, and that's the other thing, is the, if I'm not in all the way. There, see? I set off the sensor, but I'm standing in the door. So, it's not perfect, but it works. And now over here, I have to get a sensor coming up through here, one of these. I could do it on the outside, like have the sensor actually attached to that, or to there. Could have it somewhere over here or down in here. And I guess I may as well put it here. I know I have this space being open right now, but I think what I'll do is I've been taking a look at all my stuff going on back here, and I feel like all of this needs to maybe be rearranged and taken out so that I can get a, redesign what's going on this side of things. Which means maybe relocating the gyroscopes. Now, it's only 3 gyroscopes here, and I've got a lot of gyroscopes back in here. but not enough. Obviously, you know, I'm able to fly, but like I am having a hard time really fine manipulation. So I think having another 6, maybe, gyroscopes. 1, 2, 3, 4. I could have another full 8 gyroscopes attached back in here. One on either side. I think that'd actually work pretty well. Only hesitation then would be this area here needs to have some decking placed onto it. Yeah, so let's put the sensor like this. Oh, and then there's a trick you can do with this one, where the door... the door will stay off until you're ready to go through it. I think, yeah. Well, let's just set them up like that. Do I have auto rotate turned on? No, I don't. It's just what happens is you have it set up there, and then you move your cursor up to touch here, and it like auto snaps to that, and then you go back, and it's like, oh, I snapped to that recently, so hence the confusion. Alright, so this guy, I want these right and left extents to be done, bottom, top, front, back extent. I want it to be 2 meters. And let's listen. Yep. Huh. I think I left its front extent. Well, I could just show. Oh, I'm hearing that one go off. Of course. Alright. So let's turn off show on HUD. Yep. And let's get this one set up similarly. Come on. Left, right, bottom, top, front, 2 meters. Okay. And so, if I'm coming from inside this area, and this area is pressurized, this door is going to be closed. It's going to have the timer block closing it. I open this up, and then I enter into this space. And actually, I bet I could make that space be a little bit larger. So if I show on HUD again, and the front extent. Alright, there's the front extent, just I want to see what's going on. Spinning around, that would be its right extent, yeah. There. Front extent can go back to 0. Alright. So, back extent and right extent at 2 meters each. And that shows us a big old area, so that open this door, step forward, and you're already in it, like, in it about the same time that you're through this door. So that door can close while we trigger that. Alright, let's get these 2 doors. Sliding door 6 is going to be sliding door, sled, and starboard. Interior. And this is sliding door, sled, starboard. Wait, starboard STB, exterior. Alright. Now these 2 doors I want on a group. TB doors. On the sled. And for this sensor on this side, I want to set up actions, groups, doors, starboard doors, sled, and I want to close them. Alright, so I'm walking through, the door closes. Aha. Alright. And now I'm going to have one of these timer blocks over here. Timer blocks, all kinds of timer blocks. Power surge. So I've reused some timer blocks on the sled here. Clearly they're not all that important. Show on HUD for all these timer blocks. Silly. Alright, 2 of the unnamed timer blocks are right there. And then we have timer block 5, timer block power surge, and timer block power surge. Alright. So, timer block power surge 2, what was it supposed to be doing originally? It was turning on power surge start, lights, and... Alright, well, let's reuse it for the doors, and we're going to just close the doors, and we're going to then... This is power surge, was it? Power surge 2. Let's rename it right now. Timer block for the sled. Doors. Close. Give it a 2-second delay. No, let's give it a 5-second delay. And now let's set up its actions so that it closes the doors, and then it'll also close the port side doors, and then it'll... Belta cabin doors, sled doors. Sled door close. I want it to start that one so that it starts itself every time it runs. So for every 5 seconds, it's just going to keep running if I turn it on. Yep. And let's check this. I open that up and close them right away. But then, say I open that up and leave, and they closed automatically. Alright. Exciting things, I'm sure. But, you know, hey, that's what part of Space Engineers is all about, is figuring out how to work these different blocks to do different things. Anyway, I'm gonna poke around a little bit more, decide how I want to redesign all this, if at all. Figure out how to get the cabin here to be airtight. I put this door in here next to this decoy block. Wondering if maybe I want to try and pipe up a welder onto that decoy block. Definitely gotta consider doing something about making this airtight, which might mean rearranging where things are. I took these rear-facing thrusters off that, because, I mean, I do have a good amount here. It shouldn't come in close. Alright. Well, let's decide what we're going to do next, and I'll bring you back. So, this is me getting rid of these gyroscopes.
Inventory full.
But it's nice not having scrap any longer, because I am now placing them back down over here. As you'll see, I've got a little bit of a deck walking here. I'm going to extend something in through here. The one that I started working on was on this side. And have gyroscopes in through here. There we go. Now I suppose I could probably get this set up somehow where I have a welders welding these up for me, so I don't have to worry about doing it myself, but we're in a little bit tight quarters right now, and this works. I will say, I do like the plugin that lets me rotate through my tools by scrolling on the mouse, but it does allow for some pretty annoying situations where you're accidentally scrolling but also pressing the button. Anyway. These sensors are working. Ta-da! And up here on the Espelta, the sensor is working as well. I am going to want to trigger the ramp from inside. Maybe, maybe with a button on the hotbar. That could probably work. Let's see what's on 5. Groups, no, it's going to be ramp. Timer block for ramp. Toggle ramp. Trigger now. I'll just have to remember to only press that if I have just run on. You know, and I know for sure that it's down still. Nice. Alright, well, with moving those gyroscopes out from there, and that's going to clear up a little bit more space back here. I might end up grabbing these batteries, because, I mean, even with scrap removed, having these batteries be welded or fully assembled, you know, moving them around is going to be easier than rebuilding new batteries. But what that does mean is this scenario here, I might switch up. Like, that container there isn't necessary anymore. I had it set up so that when I walk through the back here, I get dropped. So, like, I'm walking through here, for instance, and I make it to here, and then I flip upside down, and I'd land, you know, somewhere on a walkway like here. And then I go back, and ta-da, I am at this height. And then as I walk back this way, I flip around and I'm now at this height, in this orientation. Might get too complicated, I don't know. Let me think about it a little bit more. Something else that I've been thinking about a little bit more is if I want to have a base built inside of an asteroid, the ice asteroid here is maybe not the best option. It's got a lot of chunks of ice, so there's a lot for me to harvest here and then process. But it doesn't have a lot of substance to itself. There's not like a big hollow area inside that I could build a base in. I don't know. It's got all these craggly bits. I threw in a GPS for the asteroid dose. Because, I mean, I found this cool little, like, ledge part here where I could imagine having, you know, a glass be right here. It shows a cool sunrise over the moon. But I don't know. Not convinced. Alright, let's keep working on the bits out here. Maybe throw in a few more pieces of armor plating, like I put the deck plating over the top of the thruster over here. Let me grab that for this spot as well. You know, that's annoying. I swore I had already withdrawn all those. Although I will say, the Tier 2 assembler there, with those 2 speed efficiency modules, I've not yet run into an issue where I've been outbuilding my ability to create pieces. So, we have a few more to go here. I had to pick up the Espelta. And actually, you know, I picked it up and went off and I fought a Reaver Impaler. And now an invader is coming at me. I'm going to go see what I can do about fighting that. Because I've been tired of hiding from Reavers every time, you know? Just because they're aggressive doesn't mean I need to worry about them. So let's see what the Isbelta can do. My ammo reserves, here we go. Assault cannon shells are a little light. But otherwise, let's see what I can see here. Yep, that's me. Just a miss. And that's an appealing looking piece of scrap. Oh, and it looks like it still has a gyroscope active on it. Well, all right. Did I take any damage? I don't think I did. Haha. Nice. And hey, that's this girl without any upgrades. 17 kilometers away. So I've got these two wrecks that keep flashing at me, the Mayday signals. And I guess, I mean, I'm, what, 6 kilometers away? It could be the same two. Oh, hey, that is a big old chunk of ice. May as well grab it. I mean, it's a Reaver ship. I'm not going to get many other spoils of war. When I was down on Caldera, thinking that the only way I was going to get ice was from fights like this,
Inventory full.
It was a little more intimidating than what ended up happening, which was, you know, just I found mostly full.
Inventory full.
Mostly full wrecks with, you know, available hydrogen. I think the game is designed so that you have as much hydrogen as you can need. But she did well. Those turrets up top are clutch, let me tell you. And with all the gyroscopes in there, I'm able to easily turn and face, get my get all my guns pointed. Well, whoa, whoa. Stop that. Okay. Your magnetic boots really have problems. Alright, what I was saying was let's go ahead and hook back up with the sled and go take a look at one of these random, the Mayday signals. After finishing off a couple more of those plates that I need to weld while the Espelta isn't quite parked yet. Okay, what the heck is this gonna be? A chunk of the Reaver, surely. Like, how did it just... Space is big. How do I keep finding them near me? You know, of all the weird random places for a grid to just end up stuck. Yeah, thanks for the grids, right? Thanks for the plates. Let's get back to this. You know I said that I was going to go check out one of those Mayday signals, but I think I have an idea here for the last couple of quick modifications. I've got 62 thruster components in here, and 50 over here, and 38 over here, so that's... I think that's just enough to fix up both of those and take this one apart. Let's do that. First, get my 2 construction components back from the light. Yep, that's the thruster working. And...
Inventory full.
Nope, here. Ah, 10 short. Okay. Well, I might be able to make 10. I did grab some platinum while I was away. Let's grab what I need for that on a build planner. Can't withdraw 2 thruster components. Can I get my 2 thruster components, please? I can, I did. Alright. Now, that's twice as much thrusting as I'd had previously. And just to be perfectly sure, I'm going to take a look at this. And with Build Vision, I think? It's either Build Vision or... one of those mods. Control plus shows the thruster damage. And I'm pretty sure all those red lines are just outside of where that slopey bit is. So, yeah. We've got clearance. Alright, let's take this out now.
Inventory full.
And I'm going to use that space to put in a downward facing connector. And then, up here in the Espelta, come on. I'm going to cut through the floor here with more of these junction bits and have there be a downward connector to make it so I can land and, attach through this gap right here a lot more easily than I was previous. And I think that's a good thing to get working on. Let's do it. So here's my dilemma, right? I am... Coming up through the floor there was a lot farther forward than I expected it to be. It actually came up through here underneath. So I thought maybe I'd pipe forward, but then that would leave, you know, it's still not quite right. There's only 2 spaces in between here and here. So I would need to have 3 in there somehow. And so that choice kind of was made for me, and now I just got to fill this all back in, get some flooring rebuilt. But what I did look through was where all of the connection points were for the 3x3 piping, and I noticed that on both the port and starboard side, there's one junction box right behind that connector that has a downward-facing port. It's a relatively open spot, relatively easy to get to. And if I have the connector protruding up out of the deck, then I might be able to get to it without it needing to be a concern. So, if I look here and I get myself... Oh, well, there we go. The conveyor frame. I'd want probably 2 conveyor frames. Yeah, let's try that out. Alright, completely protruding. I do suspect that that'll connect fine. But I don't know if I need it to be that close. I think I can have it be one higher up and still connect. And I think I like the look of that a little bit better. So let me give that a try, see if that'll work. Alright, it looks like I will be able to connect with it being recessed by 1. And, you know, frankly, I like that a lot better than having this... you know, armature of those different hinges attached. So let's do that. Yeah, let's weld everything up, get, you know, one on port and starboard, because why not? And then get the new docking spot for the Espelta squared away. Hey, and with that, I have resealed up the cabin of the Espelta. I've got a little bit more fixing up to do here, but that actually shouldn't be too hard. It looks like it's just some basic shapes. We got to get those colored the right color, and one here, one, like, and I've run out of plates. Alright, well, the reason I brought you back is because I am here ready to dock up, although it looks to me like I can't quite get perfect where I'm attached to either one. I have to go either to the right or to the left. That's going to be ever so slightly annoying. And does it actually need me? It does. It needs me to twist just a little bit to touch. Ooh, well... You know, I suppose that's something I'm just going to have to deal with. All right, let's get naming those connectors, and then getting the, getting all of everything ready to go. Oh man, that's just enough, not perfect. maybe if I go through and recess all the landing gear in one higher, that could work. I mean, then I'd have to worry about landing on a planet with the thrusters hitting the floor. And I'm almost oh man, I'm almost a full block over from that. Alright, well, you know what? It's going to be some fixing up that I want to do. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Survival Records. I hope you come back for the next one. And thanks for watching.